Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, we'll learn about lists in Python. So what are lists in Python? Lists are nothing but sequence of elements enclosed within a square bracket, a pair of square bracket. Let me write. Lists are a sequence of elements or items enclosed within a pair of square brackets. Okay. And, or you can say, in other words, comma separated items or elements of different data type. Okay, so lists can contain different data types. For example, let me create a list underscore 1 equal to 10 comma 5.5 comma Python comma, let's say true. So I have a list here, list underscore 1 created, and how many elements are there in that list? 1, 2, 3 and 4. All of them are different data types, right? 10 is an integer, 5.5 is a float, Python is a string, and true is a boolean, right? To check the data type of any variable, we can use the type function. So to check the type of list underscore 1, we'll do type list underscore 1, it gives me list. So list is represented as list, list in small letters in Python. And another thing, I'll repeat that these elements of the list can be any data type in Python. Okay, for example, it could be fruits equal to, fruits can be a list which has a list of fruits. Let's say mango, apple, orange, right? Fruits, there are 3 elements or 3 fruits in the fruits list. Okay. Now, there is a function called len, right? Len function gives us the total number of elements present in that list. Len function applied on a list will give how many elements are there in the list. So there are 3 elements or 3 items in the list. So we'll get the output as 3. For list underscore 1, there are 4 elements. So if you do a len on list underscore 1, you get 4. Right? Now, very basic thing about lists is we can do indexing in lists. What is indexing? What is an index? An index is nothing but the position of the list, right? An index is nothing but the position. Now, if you see this list underscore 1, there are 4 elements in this list. Each of them will have their own positions. So this 10 is at position number 0 or index number 0. 5.5 is at index number 1. Python is at index number 2. And true is at index number 3. So when I say that, it means that indexing in Python or the positioning in Python for the elements of a list starts from 0. Right? And if you see, the length of list underscore 1 was 4. If you start counting it from 0, the last element obviously become length minus 1. there are 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you count it starting with 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? But to start counting it from 0, it will be 0, 1, 2, and 3, right? So we can generalize this concept and say that the last element of any list can be represented as length minus 1, which is 4 minus 1 in this case, which is 3, right? Now, this is positions of the or index of the list. Now, indexing in list means we can fetch the elements of the list using its index. We can fetch the elements of this list using the index, using the square bracket. Now, don't get confused with square brackets. Square brackets are used to create lists as well, right? Right? This is different. And the square bracket is used for positioning of the list as well. How? List name, let's say list underscore 1 is my list name, the variable. And I want to fetch the first element, which is 10. Now, what is the index of the first element? 0. So within the square brackets or between the square brackets, we will write the position or the index of the element that I want to fetch. So indexing is nothing but fetching an element from a list. So when I do this, I get the first element, which is nothing but 10. All right. Similarly, if I do list underscore 1 of 1, the second element of the list will be fetched, which is 5.5. Now, how to fetch the last element? Now, we know the length of the list underscore 1 is 4. The last element index will be 3. So, if you do list underscore 1 of 3, you will get the last element, which is true. All right. Now, so there are 4 elements, 0 to 3 will be the indexes of the list. Now, what if I do list underscore 1 of 4? Do we have a fourth index in this list? 1, 2, 3, 4, but the indexes starts from 0, 1, 2, and 3. There is no index with position 4 or index 4, right? There is no element at index number 4 for this list, but we are trying to fetch it. What will Python do in this case? Let's see. When we run this code, we get something called an index error. We get an index error, list index out of range. For this list underscore 1 variable or this list underscore 1 list, the index number 4 is out of the range of that list. We don't have an index number 4 in this case. All right. So we'll get an error in this case if we give any index which is not in the range of that list. Now, let me show you. These are the elements, right? 10, 5.5, Python, and 2. So index number 0, index number 1, index number 2, and index number 3. These are called positive index because they are represented by positive integers. Right? There will always be starting with 0 and going till length minus 1. Right? Integers. And they are positive. Right? Now, there is a concept of negative index as well in Python. Okay. A negative index, on the contrary, starts from the right side. So, positive indexes starts from left to right. Right? First element, second, 0, 1, 2, 3. Negative indexing starts from the left side, you can say for understanding purpose, minus 1, then minus 2, then minus 3, and minus 4. Now, what is the meaning of this? This means the last element. Minus 1 represents the last element. Minus 2 means second last element. Minus 3 means the third last element, and minus 4 means the fourth last element or the first element. Why the first element? Because the list, this is the first element of the list. If you observe here, what is this minus 4? Isn't minus 4 minus length of the string? Sorry, of the list. What is the length of this list? 4. So minus 4 is nothing but the length of the list. So what do we understand here? In positive indexing, it starts from 0 and goes till length minus 1 from left to right. And negative indexing, you can see that it starts from, if you see from left to right, if you again see, it starts from minus length and goes till minus 1. Or if you see from right to left, it starts from minus 1 and goes till minus length, which is nothing but the first character, sorry, the first element or the item of the list. All right. Now, why do we need negative indexing if we have positive indexing? We need negative indexing because sometimes you might need to fetch an element from a list from the end of the list. Let's say if you have a huge list of 100 elements in it, right? Somebody asks you to find out the second last element. Second last element, what will be the index? The last element index will be, if 100 elements are there, length minus 1, 99 will be the last element and 98 will be the second last element, right? So that way you calculate, right? Length minus 2. Instead of writing length minus 2 or 98, you can simply use negative indexing and simply say minus 2 indexing, which is second last. So to make it more understandable and simpler, negative indexing can be used if you want to fetch any element from a list from the end of the list. All right. So this video, we understood the basics of lists, what lists have, what can list have. List can have any element in it, and indexing of lists, right? Moving forward, if we move forward, what we can do is we can take another example. Let's say list underscore 2. Now, as I said, the list can have any element inside it. So a list can have a list inside it as well. Let's say 10, 5.5, Python, then 1, 2, 3, and then true. Now, pause the video and think, how many elements are there in this list? Did you get it? If you count, this is one element, this is another element, 2, this Python is the third element, and this list, entire list is a single element, and true is the last element. So even if you check the len of list underscore 2, you'll get 5. This 1, 2, and 3 are not individual elements of the list. This 1, 2, 3 are individual element of this list, but this entire list is the element of the list underscore 2. This is called the outer list, and this we can call it as a inner list. 1, 2, 3 having elements 1, 2, 3, this may be called as a inner list. So this entire list has a index of, so this is 0, this is 1 index, this is index number 2, this is index number 3, and this is index number 4. Understood? So if you do list underscore 2 of 3, when you do list underscore 2 of 3, you will fetch this guy, which is 1, 2, 3. All right. So this is the 0th element, this is the first element, this is the second element, this is the third element, and this is the fourth element. Now, when you fetch the third element, the third index element from the list underscore 2, you will get this list. Now, output is a list itself having these 3 elements, and this list will have its own position or index, namely 0, 1, and 2. Or we can write here 0, 1, and 2. Correct? Now, having said that, the question is, can we fetch this element 3? from this list underscore 2, can I fetch this element 3? The answer is yes. How? First, you fetch the entire list, which is list underscore 2 of index number 3. This will fetch you, which we have already seen, this entire list 1, 2, 3. Now, from this list, we want the index number 2. So, considering list underscore 2 of 3 as this list, we can apply indexing here and say 2, because that's the index of 3, right? If I do this, let's see what happens. List underscore 2 of 2 comma, sorry, list underscore 2 of 3 of 2, and hence it works. It gives me this value, which is 3. So this is called list inside a list, right? And the inner list elements also can be fetched by the outer list indexing, right? First fetch the inner indexing and then fetch the value at the inside the list using the index of that particular list, right? Now similarly, since this 3 is the last element of the inner list, I can use -1 as well. So list underscore 2 of 3, I can use -1. So list underscore 3 will give me this list 1, 2, and 3. And we can apply negative indexing for the inner list. We can do that. And when we do that, we get again 3. All right. So what did we learn? We learned what are lists, what are indexes, how to do indexing in a list, how to find the length of the list, and what are the elements that can be there in the list, and a list inside a list is possible, and how to fetch the elements from the inner list. There are a lot of things that we can learn with lists. For example, slicing of lists, changing the elements of lists, and the methods or functions associated with lists, or operations that we can perform with lists. For example, adding elements to a list, deleting elements from a list, right? Sorting a list, copying a list, and so on and so forth. If you want those videos as well, please comment below in the comment section and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.